Hello you guys, alexab.alchemy here for your weekly card pull. Welcome back. I have not done a reading in, I want to say, a little bit over a month. So this specific reading is channeled for the week of April 9th, 2023, and this reading is for all of my Capricorns. Now, I used to do a reading for every single zodiac sign every single week, and as much as I love that practice, I do not have the bandwidth to continue with that right now. So unless there is a very high demand for every single sign, I figured I would stick to Capricorn for a little while. I am a Capricorn sun, so I'm very closely tied to the sign, and it seems to me that Capricorn gets the most feedback and typically the most views, so I figured if a lot of my audience happens to be Capricorns, this is a really good place to start. If you would like for me to do readings with other signs, again, these can apply for your sun, your moon, your rising, or your north node, please drop a comment below and let me know. Or shoot me a message. The higher demand I get for certain signs, the more likely I am to create space and time for them. However, because I've been so busy with being back home in the States, I'm just doing what I can at the moment. So first question for my dear Capricorns that I'd like, well, there's one, that I'd like to ask. What guidance or perspectives might be helpful for you in this upcoming week? Depending on what comes up, maybe we will pull from a few of the other decks, but I want to kind of just start out and see what main messages or what themes might be useful for you to keep in mind this upcoming week. And a lot of cards are flying out, and I don't feel like I want to be going through all of them, so I'm going to pick out the ones that are speaking to me the strongest. Okay, my dear Capricorns, so I did pull 3 cards in reverse, and anytime a card is pulled in reverse, which is basically upside down, it's generally asking for you to look at things a little bit more deeply within yourself. Oftentimes, cards in reverse can imply that maybe you are projecting things out onto the world around you, or you are sort of displacing where your energy needs to be focused. And it's really important that, especially in this week, you are not projecting everything out onto the world around you. Of course, our surroundings are a reflection of what's going on within, but I think primary lesson number 1, before I even get into the actual symbolic meaning of any of the specific cards, is to, my dear Capricorns, be mindful of how much responsibility you are giving other people over your own experience or your own emotions. So I pulled in reverse card number 57 with turquoise. I pulled card number 47 in reverse for rhodonite, and card number 20 in reverse with diamond. Again, reverse is basically upside down, so in the upright position, these cards look as such. So I'm going to go in order, just kind of explaining what these ones mean, where they might be showing up in your life. First card is the card of turquoise. This card has a lot to do with storytelling and what stories you are telling yourselves, what your narrative is. Whenever this card comes up, it's a really big encouragement to look at your narrative. Look at your narratives about what's going on in your life. Because I pulled this one in the reverse, I do feel like some of you maybe are having some harsh narratives about yourself or towards yourself. I'm getting a lot of like self-image messages with this one maybe. So it's possible that for some of you, you've been telling maybe the harshest possible story about yourself or about a certain situation. If there's something that has been challenging for you, I'm going to actually pull to get more clarity on where this might be coming up. But if there's something that has been challenging for you in your life, I would definitely consider asking yourself, what is the story you're telling about this? The story that you tell is the lens, the frame through which you are looking at something. If you even think about, I'm just dropping cards everywhere. If you think about like a picture and the frame that you put around it, it's going to affect the way that you look at that picture. Sometimes the frame is going to complement it and it's going to bring out certain elements, or it's going to highlight certain elements. And sometimes the frame is going to outshine or like overpower the image, in which case there is kind of an imbalance there. So I would ask for you, if you are a visual, kind of a learner, a visual thinker, visualize like what's actually going on with your narrative. Do you feel like the frame around the things that you're looking at is out of perspective? Do you feel like it's complementing what's actually going on? Maybe you feel like the way that you're looking at the situation is a little bit cloudy. Maybe the glass needs to be cleaned on it. Just picture what you're telling yourself as being a photograph on a wall, nothing more, nothing less, and understand what is the lens with which you are looking at that? I did also pull up malachite in reverse and orange calcite to kind of provide a little bit more clarity on this. Ironically, malachite is all about like the clarity of thought and the clarity of your emotions and being able to integrate your emotional experience with your intellectual experience. So maybe for some of you, the stories that you might be telling yourself might be limited to your intellectual processing, or they might be limited to your emotional processing. And what I mean by that is maybe some of you are in a position where you're just looking at the A plus B equals C from the very logistical standpoint. Maybe you are completely ignoring emotions that you have or that other people have, and it's clouding your ability to see the beauty and also the complexity. I feel like some of you are in a situation that has a lot of richness and a lot of complexity and a lot of depth, which is really hard for a lot of people to handle because we want things to be black and white sometimes. We want the answer. We want like yes, no, right, wrong. And I feel like maybe some of you are in a position where you don't have that, and maybe that's frustrating, and maybe your narrative about that is that you can't do anything right because it's not clear whether or not something is right. I feel like for some of you that might be a really, really strong theme. And I think it'll just be really important for you to be mindful of the way, that you're thinking about this thing, mindful of the way that you're talking to yourself about this. Orange calcite, this card has a lot to do with your creativity. This is the sacral chakra card, if you will. So there's a level of creative energy, pleasure, sensuality, sexuality, the pleasure of birthing something new. This doesn't have to be in a physical sense. This can be, in a creative outlet, but I feel like maybe some of you, maybe your creativity is a little bit blocked because of stories you're telling about yourself. Maybe there are creative opportunities that you want to take or risks that you want to take, and maybe you're just holding yourself back a little bit because of certain narratives. And I will not assume what those narratives are. I think only you know. I do have the two other cards that I pulled at the beginning that might provide a little bit more clarity if you're like, I don't know what this is, but understanding what your story is on a micro level and on a macro level, understanding what story you are telling yourself and how that actually affects your experience of your life. Also with this card, there is a reminder that you can rewrite your story at any time, and you can rewrite it in the way that best serves you. So if you had, let's say, a relationship end and your narrative has always been, oh, they left because I wasn't good enough, you can rewrite that narrative. You can rewrite that narrative to be something more along the lines of like, they left because it was the wrong time, or they left because that was what was supposed to happen, or they left because they had other things. Like whatever, whatever the deal is, like you have the ability to sit with your story right now and understand how it's affecting your experience and how you might want to change that. Yeah, so a different way of perceiving. Also, if you dabble with psychedelics, maybe things that might, I don't want to say alter your perception of your reality, but that might give you an expansive look on your perception of reality, could be helpful. Which leads me into the next card I pulled, which was also in reverse, and that was the card of rhodonite. And this card encourages you to really tap into your community, to tap into your sources, and to tap into guidance. There's some level of harmony. I feel like number 2 is the number that comes with this card. So harmony within your relationships. This could be within your relationships to other people in your life, but because it was in reverse, this could also be harmony in relationship to yourself, which, going back to turquoise, if you've been telling the worst possible story about yourself, X happened because I am Y, and Y being, a negative statement, this card comes up with a reminder that you have the ability to really create a little bit more harmony within your internal relationship to yourself. And I think this week, my dear Capricorn, that's probably going to prove very useful for you. With the card of rhodonite, there is an encouragement also if you have a mentor or a body worker. I'm getting body work for someone, or acupuncturist, herbalist, someone that you see as, I don't want to say wiser in the subject, but someone whose opinion that you respect and that you would willingly take advice from. This might be a really good time to consider reaching out to them. Maybe not immediately, maybe not right away, but if that's something that's been percolating in your mind, that might be a path that could help you to reframe, I guess, some of those things, especially if you feel like it's hard for you to reframe your narrative. Really being willing to connect with connect with the guidance in some way, shape, or form. I think that's gonna probably color things a little bit better for you. And also with this card, there is a theme of generosity and reciprocity. So that's where I think that the concept of mentor comes in. This isn't really someone who's like a friend. I mean, they could be, but I get with this a lot of this like, yeah, someone just in a position where they're able to give you something and you're willing to receive it. And in exchange, it's almost like an exchange for services, but like not quite. You give them something, i.e., you know, whatever it is that they seek in return. I'm not going to go into the exchanges and everything, but whatever it is that they seek in return for their guidance, it's that nature of reciprocity. And also knowing like paying it forward is another form of reciprocity when someone does something kind for you and you have the opportunity to pay that forward. So maybe someone's willing to mentor you and you will have a chance to pass that knowledge on, to pass that gift on in the future. So right now you're in a position where you can accept that. Or if you've already accepted that and you have people coming to you asking you for advice, maybe now is the time that you get to step into that mentorship and leadership role. Cool. And finally, for my dear Capricorns, I also pulled for you guys the card of Diamond. Again, excuse me. This one was also in the reverse. And the main message with this card is beauty and strength arising from trials and challenges. So if, my dear Capricorns, you've been experiencing some things, I can talk. If you've been experiencing some things that have been challenging for you, things, especially again, as they pertain to your relationship to yourself, just know that that doesn't mean that your journey is over. That doesn't mean that you have failed. Any challenges that you're facing within yourself, any battles, any demons that you personally are conquering right now, or that you are facing externally, all of those things are laying a foundation for you to come out stronger. And if you feel like you are being beaten down, you don't have a lot of energy left, maybe you're kind of drained, the beautiful thing with the card of Diamond and the positive message that comes with the card of Diamond is that there is, I want to say like a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light comes in the form of you coming out stronger because of it. I do feel called, like I want to pull from my Moonology deck, maybe just because I haven't pulled from this one in a long time, because while I was traveling, I did not have Moonology with me. But I feel like I want to ask, I don't know, a couple of clarifying questions here for you guys. So, dear Capricorns, the first question I want to ask this deck is, okay, so what guidance, what perspectives would be helpful? We already asked that. Tell us more about the storytelling. Like, I don't know why I keep coming back to this storytelling card, this reframing card. What are some ways that that can be achieved, or some things that might be helpful with that? I do think that reaching out to a mentor or someone will help with rewriting the narrative, but if you find that to be particularly challenging, what else might help you? Okay. Oh God, we have a lot of cards. All right. So I have take time to breathe out. Emotions may be running high. So we got the Supermoon card. In reverse, we have New Moon in Virgo. Time to give rather than to take. Okay, so moving into that concept of reciprocity, giving and taking, making sure that there is a balance within that. What do you need to release? Being mindful of things that you need to get rid of, things that maybe you've been holding on to. Okay, I'm going to slow down. Things that you may have been holding on to. I feel like one of the things that you might need to release, honestly, is just in belief systems about yourself. If you've never done any kind of like deep inner work or neural pathway rewiring kind of stuff, that may be really helpful as well for, I guess, yeah, giving you the foundation of tools. It's a toolkit. Giving you a toolkit to release certain subconscious narratives and subconscious beliefs that might, like, you might not even know where these blockages lie, but maybe spending some time in some deep meditation, or looking at programs that can help you rewire, maybe looking into therapies, releasing something about the way that you relate to yourself that really no longer serves you. I think a lot of people, you may grow up with limiting beliefs, which isn't necessarily a problem. It's a way for humans to have caution and to proceed in life with caution. So if you have like really high levels of caution that you feel like are stopping you. Like there's a point where it's helpful and then there's a point where it's harmful. So if you feel like you are experiencing things where you're stopping yourself short, or like, oh, I could achieve this, but like I have this blockage, maybe set a really clear and a really strong intention to release some of those things. I also pulled full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. So I think a lot of this comes in the way of negativity about your narratives. These could be conscious or subconscious again. But being willing to dive into the really deep subconscious work is going to be useful. But I do feel like some of this for a lot of you is probably seeping out consciously. Like, I don't feel like a lot of you are going to be like, oh, I had no idea this was there. Like, I feel like a lot of you are like, oh yeah, that checks out. That's a narrative I've been wanting to release for a long time. And I think in this season, you have a beautiful opportunity to do that. In reverse, again, a time to give rather than to take. So just making sure that you are balanced in your transactions, that you are not taking too much away from other people. Also that other people are not taking too much away from yourself. This was in reverse. So being mindful of what you are giving out as well. I just think having a level of balance and some really healthy boundaries. If you are feeling if you're feeling emotional, because emotions are running high, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you don't know where to go or what to do, you just need to breathe, then do exactly that. Per what I said earlier, you know, take time out to breathe. Really give yourself that time, Capricorns. I know we like to work hard. We like to move. We like to be go, 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 go. This week, my dears, take some time out for yourself. And finally, a little bit of encouragement for you. I pulled in upright full moon in Libra, so a win-win forecast. A win-win outcome, A win-win outcome is forecast. So if you are having concerns about whether or not your relationships are going to provide a level of balance, in the end, they will. So I think when it comes down to it though, really focusing on your narratives within yourself and giving yourself the time and the space to work with those, that's going to be your primary focus. Oh my God. Oh, it's been so long since I've done these. That's going to be your primary focus this week, my dear Capricorn. So turning in within yourself, recognizing that other people's attitudes, their beliefs about you is really none of your business and is not what dictates your narrative. You dictate your narrative. So if you're feeling like you need to take some of your power back, or you want someone to chat with about how to do that, please do feel free to reach out. You can find me here on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, all social media at alexab.alchemy. You're more than welcome to send me a DM, especially if you have questions. And if you want further clarification on this reading, because I'm going to close this one out right now. If you want any further clarification on this reading, please shoot me a message, let me know. I do offer one-on-one sessions and one-on-one readings, so if you want to dive a little bit more deeply, that is also an opportunity for you. And with that being said, my goal is to get back to doing these every single week, so please tune in next week, my dear Capricorns. If you want other placements or other signs, again, leave a comment below of what you would like, and the more I get, the more likely I am to start opening up to doing more readings. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.